Hello. Today I'm going to be sowing some carrot seeds. I'm going to be using two different methods of sowing these seeds. We're going to sow them in 10-inch buckets, and we're going to use this recycled soil that came from my smallest compost pile in the world. This is soil that was used last year to grow potatoes or leeks or celery or carrots, and it's simply been overwintered on a rack, and it's had a chop and drop of seaweed and leaves and then grass put on top of those buckets to break down over winter. Okay, let me show you a couple of stills. This is what the buckets looked like in the autumn of last year when I first added the chop and drop. This is what the buckets look like further down the line when some of that chop and drop had had time to be taken into the pots by the worms and broken down by the weather. This is me adding some grass to the buckets from the last cut of the lawn of last year. These are the buckets on the rack with a nice covering of snow. So we're now in our winter. So we've gone through the autumn of the year. We're now in the winter of the year. It's now the spring of the year, and this is me emptying out one of those buckets. And that particular compost, that particular soil was used for planting potatoes in a previous video, and I simply incorporated any of the material that was left over that hadn't composted, that hadn't been taken in by the worms or broken down by the weather. I simply incorporated that into the mix because that wouldn't be an issue to potatoes. But since we're growing carrots today, we need to clean this up. This is too lumpy, too many bits in it. So we're going to need to put it through a riddle. But before I do that, I'm going to show you what you're going to need if you're going to follow this method of sowing carrots. Okay, let's have a look at it. This is a plastic grid. The size of those squares doesn't matter. It's just to give you a pattern on a pot. Just a piece of recycled plastic I found in the garden. Bases from pizzas. This one's got 30 holes punched in it. It's a good pattern, and it's a pattern that was provided by another YouTuber, and I've already given you links to his site and I'll try and get a link into this video somewhere, so that if you want to make this, okay, you can actually get a paper pattern that you can impose onto your pizza base, pop your holes through with a pencil. There are patterns for 10-inch buckets and 5-gallon buckets. This is 30 holes in, but I think to go up till, I don't know, 35, 40, 50, down as far as 10, I'm not too sure. You'd need to visit that site and have a look. But if you want to make these, and you need that pattern, that paper pattern, you will need to go to that site. And hear the dogs in the background. We've got visitors again today. They'll probably pop through the shop from time to time. Okay, so you need those. You definitely need these. Carrot seeds. Okay, now I will warn you. One of these packets has 200 seeds in. The other has 500 seeds in, and one actually has 2,000 seeds in. Now the last thing you're going to want to do is open this packet, fold it over and drizzle those seeds in. If you're heavy-handed and you've got 2,000 seeds in there, you're going to sow 500 or more seeds in your bucket. You're just going to get thin, straggly carrots. You've oversown your pot. So we're not going to shake them out of this packet. This is what we're going to do. That's a milk bottle top. That's going to hold a little water. Some Cook's matches. You're going to need a matchstick for this. And you're going to need something to spray water, because when we plant these seeds, we're not going to put the watering can over them. We're not going to put a cup of water, a beaker of water, a hose pipe. We're not going to do that. We're going to spray them. We don't want to dislodge these seeds. Once we've got them in, we want them to stay where they are and germinate where they are. We don't want to wash them out or wash them to one side of the bucket. So you need a spray. Okay. And this here, because we've already used this soil last year, it's probably depleted of some nutrients, although the chop drop of seaweed and leaves and supplemented by grass will have put quite a bit back into it. We're going to fire this up with some bloodfish and bone. Okay, we're going to fire it up with some bloodfish and bones. Okay, so let me move all this out of, oh, one last thing. You're going to need a pencil. You're definitely going to need a pencil, or something like a pencil. Okay, let me move all this out of the shot and let me riddle this compost while the dogs kill one another in the background. I'm only joking, they're only playing, you know what they're like. Two of them are pups, and Molly's, well, Molly's not a pup, as you know, but she enjoys the company. But they'll get a bit full on in a minute, and I don't know what we'll need to do. Okay. Oh, and these are the 10-inch buckets. You might be using a 5-gallon bucket, in which case you'll need a template for a 5-gallon bucket. These are templates for 10-inch buckets. These are all about, what did I say, 10 litres, yeah. But you can get a bigger template, and with the plastic, just cut a bigger template. Make it yourself. Okay. Garden riddle. And some gloves. I don't know if those dogs have been in camera shot yet, but the black one is Poppy and the brown one is Daisy, and the black and white one, as you all know, is Molly. Okay, right, now if we're planting potatoes we would not need to do this, but we're not, we're planting carrots, small seeds, so we definitely need to do this. Okay, so there's all the material that hasn't broken down. But that would cause carrots to fork, so we don't want that in there. So we want to take that out. And it is quite usable, by the way. It is quite usable. Okay, I'll just pop this soil in this 10-inch bucket and see how much we've got. Yeah, that wasn't a bad guess, was it? Nearly full. Now it's far too cold to be sowing carrots in your garden at the moment. If you're in the UK, I would guess. It's just the middle of spring and we've had a really cold start, so the soil in your raised bed will probably be quite cold. You can sow them if you like, and you can put clotches over them, but they may not want to germinate. They might, they may not want to. So these guys, once I've got them sown, they're going indoors until they germinate. And what I'm going to do is I did produce a video some time ago. It's a question that I'm always getting asked, and growers are always telling me their carrots haven't germinated, nothing's growing. What's the problem? Well, I think the problem is your expectations. I don't know how quickly you think carrots grow, but they take a few weeks before they reach any size. So if you're going to look at your pots every day, you're not going to see anything. But what I've got is, I've got a video from some time ago where I actually showed carrots in the various stages of growth. I think it was something like 1 week, 2 week and 4 weeks, something like that, I can't remember. But I will put a link to that. So if you're growing carrots in pots and you want to know what you can expect after a week, after 2 weeks, after 4 weeks, watch that video and it'll show you. Now, every growing year is different, so yours might come on quicker, they might come on slower, just remember that. It won't be exactly the same as mine, but it gives you a good idea of what you might expect. I don't like it, those dogs have gone quiet. There must be something going on. These are all the solids that came out. Okay, carrots would not enjoy trying to make their way through that lot, so it had to come out. As you can hear, there's a couple of small stones in there. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to use this in the bottom of the pot. So we'll probably put about 1 inch of this in the bottom of the pot. I can do that because I'm fairly confident that this will not affect the carrot's ability to grow long and straight. And what it will do, it'll break down in the bottom of the pot, and it will also provide some drainage. So we are going to use this stuff, but it'll be right in the bottom of the bucket. Okay, we're putting it in the bottom of the bucket. Okay, now what we're going to do, we're going to put this riddled soil back in the barrow. And we're going to incorporate that bloodfish and bone. Okay. Now, if Molly gets a whiff of this, she'll definitely show face, because I think this is one of Molly's favourite fertilisers. I don't know what it is about dogs, but once they get a taste for something and a smell for something, whoa, they've got to have it. How's that? Now, as you know, at homegrown veg we only have 3 measures. Not enough, more than enough, and just enough. Well, this is just enough. That's it. Okay, I'm going to pop that in back in the pots, and then we'll sow some carrots. This first pot I'm going to sow using this grid pattern. Okay. I've filled the bucket level to the surface with this soil, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press it down to give myself a nice flat surface to work with. Pizza base, I think it was off a 10-inch pizza, and it may even have been trimmed out. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm going to press that down nice and gently, and we're going to get ourselves a nice flat surface under there, hopefully. Now these things sometimes want to get wedged, so we'll just use this to prise it back off. Oh, nice and easy. Oh, how good is that? That's perfect. That is perfect. Now what we're going to do now is sit this grid pattern on it. Now what I would say now is that the soil level in this bucket is about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 inch below the rim of this bucket. So if we were to sow seeds on the surface, then top it off with more soil, they're all in at the same depth, between 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 inch, probably 1/4 of an inch. How's that? They're all in at the same depth, and we're going to sow them every other square, just because that's the spacing I like. You can sow them every square if you like. You get a lot more carrots, but they will all be straggly. You won't get any big ones in there, and you probably get quite a few that might be forked. So I would recommend you space them out. But what we're going to do now is we're going to wet the surface of this soil. How's that? Okay. This is a little container with some water in it. That's the milk bottle top. The matchstick that we're going to use. This is another bottle top, and I'm going to put some seeds in here. And we're going to transfer the seeds using the matchstick into every other square of this grid. Okay, now the seeds I'm using today are a pelleted seed. You don't need to use pelleted seeds, ordinary seeds are fine, but these guys actually show up better on a video, and as I've got them and I am going to plant them, I thought I may as well do it today. Now these guys stick readily to the bottom of this. I'm not too sure which is best for you. Can you see that? Possibly not. What about now? Can you see it on the end of the match? It's a bit windy out here. I'll get it sown. How easy was that? Now while you're watching me do this, you may think this is quite fiddly. Let me assure you, it isn't. Okay, let's put there. And the other thing I will do is, on the ticket that I put in this pot, I'll put a number of seeds planted, and that way I'll know how many to expect to germinate, won't I? And I'll also be able to see how many don't germinate, and the ones that don't germinate will simply pop in another seed in the space that's available, that's been left by the seed that didn't germinate. And we'll do that in a few weeks' time when these are big enough to recognise as a carrot. Right, I think that's about it. Right, let me just have a quick look at you, see that I haven't missed any. Okay, so that's the pattern. Now I know you're probably thinking, well, that doesn't look like a lot of carrots in there, but let me tell you, if every one of those carrots produces a decent sized carrot, that pot will be full. It just will. You've got to manage your expectations with carrots, I find, and not try to grow too many. And so we'll pop this on. All those carrots will be at the same depth. And then what we'll do is we'll give that a firm down like this. So that we get a good contact with those seeds. How's that? A little bit in there, I think. How's that? We'll give that a spray again. I will put a ticket on this. If I leave that on top now, just to remind me, and then I will put the ticket on this that this is the pot that's been sowed using the grid. Okay, this grid isn't stopping on here. It's just so that I can recognise which pot has got the carrot seeds in that was sown by grid. Right, let's do the other pot. Same procedure. Push this down first before we make it too sticky and it sticks to this pizza base. Yep, we're happy with that. It's sprayed. I've had some good results actually with this carrot seed that I'm sowing today, Trevor. I think probably one of my biggest returns has come from this particular variety. Okay, 30 holes. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to make 30 small depressions in the top of this compost. Then we're going to take this off. We're going to sow seed in every one of these 30 locations, 30 stations. Okay, and just pop that like that. Now then, we're not wanting to poke this pencil to the bottom of the pot, we're just wanting to make a mark. So we need to hold this steady and we need to remember where we've started from. So we'll put a finger on that hole there, and that's the first one we'll do. And that should have given us a mark. And we'll work our way around the outside. Producing marks on the surface of this soil. Now, I hope you can see this when I lift this off. How's that? Hey! How's that? Just let me turn it over a wee bit. Can you see them? Pop it in the hole. Close the hole with your finger. Pull a matchstick out. You wanted, provided you put some protection down. I guess you could do this in your kitchen, could you not? Put some newspaper down or something. You'd stand your pot on the newspaper. You could do this indoors. And again, these guys are not going outdoors just yet. It's far too cold. These guys will stay indoors until the weather picks up and until they break the surface. They don't need light. Well, they need light, they're under the soil. Couldn't see it if it was there. They only need light once they've germinated and once they've broke the surface. So you need to keep an eye on this. You can't just leave them and then go back in 3 weeks' time and they're all as straggly and you know, dried out as anything. You just need to keep your eye on them. And a little spray of water from time to time is probably all they'll need once you get them away. And even then, once you've got them away, I find a spray is the thing until they get some size about them, and then they do need to take some water up. I mean, if you've got good eyesight and good dexterity, you don't need a grid and you don't need this pattern, because you can see what you're doing, and you've got, I don't know, spatial awareness, have you, if you can plant them equally spaced. But I just find it easy to use this method. Let me just check with no holes that haven't been closed up. And in a few weeks' time, once they've germinated, we'll check the spacings, and any that's missed, we'll just pop a fresh seed in there. Okay. How's that? Give that a spray. I'm going to put tickets on these. I haven't got them made out, so what I'm going to do is, so I remember that this is the one that went in the 30 through the pizza base. We'll leave that on there. Well, that's it. The dogs have skedaddled. Oh no, they haven't. We've got Daisy's lying down here in the sun. I think Molly's gone in, and I'm not too sure where Poppy is. But hey, that's it. We've recycled last year's soil, we've planted our first carrots, and we're dog sitting. It's a full day here at Homegrown Veg. Hope you've enjoyed this video. I'll put a couple of thumbnails, a couple of end cards in right at the end of the video. Stay with it, and that should give you that information about what you can expect from your carrots at 1 week, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I think it is. And we'll tag another on in there that'll be of some interest as well. What better way to wind up a day in the garden than with your dogs sharing a piece of toast. Now, I've actually got Marmite on this toast, and I know, let me finish what I've got in my mouth first, then I'll start again. I know it's rude to talk with your mouth full, hold on. Okay, so I've got some Marmite on this toast, and I like it, and I know that Molly likes it, but these two pups, it might be their very first taste of Marmite, so this is going to be a test. So we'll try Daisy first. Daisy has a smell. What do you think, Daisy? Oh, Daisy walloped that. Hold on, Molly, it's Poppy's turn next. Whoa. There you go, Poppy, Marmite. This is your first taste of Marmite. Hold on. Oh, was that nice? Was that nice? Hey. Marmite on toast. We always share our food at Homegrown Veg, don't we? Yes, we do. And it's a nice thing to do, isn't it? Share your food. Yeah, it is. Hey, these dogs like this Marmite, look at them go. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? That is nice. There you go, sweetheart. Would you like some poppy? Yep. Daisy and Poppy want some, yeah, Molly. Here, sweetheart. There. There you go. Some for you too. Okay, before I sign off, I'll just remind you that in a few days' time, next weekend, it's a spring equinox. And as you know, there'll be an equal length day as night. Days and nights are of an equal length at the spring equinox. And if you're wondering which way your clocks go, they spring forward. And in the autumn, they fall back. Okay, so don't forget to put your clocks on. Get out in the garden and do some gardening. This is homegrown veg. And the dogs signing out.